Superficial scribblings on sexism, superficial scribblings on life. Who the fuck needs criticism when I can always be right? Here we are, episode 6, which will be the last episode that covers this fucking essay. The essay that I've done in the last 5 episodes. I will try to branch off to other articles that talk to you about how you're a white, privileged, scum male. Because you're a male. Yeah. Simply than that. So, throughout these last 5 episodes, I complained a lot about how this guy's supposed fucking citations and testimonies didn't have citations. But surprisingly enough, he has a partial bibliography on them. And since I have to be Inspector Clouseau here, I gotta fucking look at all these fucking posts, all these fucking websites to see where he got his fucking narrative from. Because I assume that's the only way he did. So, the first one is Brony Drama Recorded. And the article is called The Unicorn That Went Wrong. Las Vegas Unicorn was a My Little Pony convention that occurred between February 22nd to 24th, 2013 in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was expected to be a great event, especially since there were over 10 celebrities from the show and countless community stars. However, on Sunday that same week, the convention had run out of cash, which resulted in it being closed early and causing large amounts of stress to everyone who attended. It would be an event that no one would forget, not because of how fun it was, but due to the amount of fallout afterwards that would continue to affect other Brony conventions to this very day. Okay, this doesn't really seem to have a lot to do with the argument, but let's keep reading. Author's note. We will be continuously updating this article due to the changing nature of the situation. We also suggest everyone take a look at this Google Doc for a different take on the situation. Without further ado, let's begin. It all began in the middle of September in 2012 when media outlets Equestria Daily and Derpy Hooves News had announced Las Vegas' Unicon, and already had 3 special guests attending. From there on out, more and more stars from the show were invited, both with major and minor roles, and it was starting to garner a ton of attention from all over the Brony fandom. It was speculated that, if successful, that Unicon could be another major convention like that of BronyCon, River Northwest, and Equestria LA. However, there was also speculation that there were too many conventions and that there are not enough Bronies willing to make the financial contribution to sustain these conventions. Strange. This entire post so far has nothing to do with people being male or female. It's just people with money. Kind of indicative of a capitalist system, don't you think? However, this was overlooked and most Bronies looked forward to a weekend in the city of sin and vices. Great. Months later, on February 22nd, 2013, guests eagerly waited as badges were handed out. However, some red flags started showing up. For example, some people who had pre-registered did not have their info pass onto the registration desk that day and caused waits to go over 2 hours. There was a lack of staff members able to help out the artists and vendors in the alleys, tell celebrities where to go, or inform volunteers of what to do. The staff also did not pick up some special guests at the airport, a constant misspelling of names, words, and titles of events. Some badges were written by hand with a Sharpie instead of a proper tag. The staff was printing and laminating badges by hand, same with the schedule books. Some staff members were nowhere to be found. There was a wall separating the artists' alley from the vendor hall being removed on Saturday. In some cases, vendors and artists set up wherever there was a space because none of the staff made it clear where they were supposed to go. And I think the list will go on pretty much from there, because I think it all really has something to do with poor organization. Twilight Sparkle would have been very helpful in this. On Friday, February 22nd, most convention goers were not getting the treatment they expected. Wait lines for registration were long and tedious, vendors and artists barely made any cash, and there were problems involving the wall between the rooms and the panels. Later that night, the concert started. However, there was a smaller crowd than the musicians expected. On Saturday, there was a larger turnout for the day, and the wall between the artist alley and vendor hall was removed. This was also the time where things seemed to be under control to some extent. Dusky Cat held a celebrity raffle for Kiki's charity, raising a good amount of money. The celebrity dinner and cocktail hour also occurred at this time. There was a fire alarm due to a clumsy way it went out a fire escape. During this dinner, another charity event occurred, raising money for Kiki's charity. The convention ended with another concert. However, while the music was playing, the VA engines had gathered up the Brony Media, Everfree Network, Equestria Daily, Brony Show, Celestial Radio, Derby Hooves News, and Ponyville Live, and informed them that the staff had run out of money and were not able to pay the hotel or the special guests. So, that's pretty much it. It goes into more detail about Las Pegasus, but it seems that, in conclusion, this was probably a shitty idea from the start. So, that was the first bibliography. I don't understand how exactly this could have anything to do with your argument about sexism at all. So, let's go to the next one called Bronies Gone Mad. And it's a Tumblr post. Oh, this is going to be good, I know, because Tumblr is the fucking source of these fucking keyboard warriors and white knights and Tumblr feminists. Brony horror stories, like Leo Boo's stories, but with Brony's random posts, warning if you leave the stories in the ass, it will be a deleted, useless mission. NY Times Hasbro article, official Equestria Girls concept art. For those familiar, Equestria Girls is an upcoming spin-off series. You can read the original entry on it here. Well, that's a really old post, and this looks like something that would have been made in an early HTML. Anyhow, let's read it. The New York Times released an article on Hasbro, which includes a segment on My Little Pony and Equestria Girls. They also released some final concept art of the human girls seen below. Great. Hasbro has used its multi-platform, multi-generational strategy as a template for other brands, including My Little Pony, a 30-year-old property for girls ages 3 and up. In 2010, the company revamped the brand with a television series called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The series attracted legions of adult fans to the My Little Pony franchise. Note the term adult fans. Nothing to do with men or women at all, just of age. They obsess about the characters in fan-generated fiction, artwork, and videos. Adult male fans who call themselves bronies male fans, even bought ad time on the Hub, a cable television channel co-owned by Hasbro, to thank the company for producing the show. Wow, didn't notice that. In response, Hasbro expanded My Little Pony as a lifestyle brand with 200 licenses in 15 categories, including publishing, apparel, betting, and digital gaming. To celebrate the brand's 30th anniversary this year, the company plans to introduce a new extension this fall called Equestria Girls. But adult fans have also pushed to take more control of the brand, creating unauthorized digital games and plush toys that company executives eventually quashed. They don't mind having his fan base, but they can't forget their core market, said Jim Silver, editor-in-chief of the time-to-play-mag.com, which covers the toy industry. These are waters you have to navigate very carefully. You can read the full article, which delves into some of the Hasbro's other product lines. Once again, this doesn't really have much to do with sexism at all. So this is your structure, right? You said these kind of made the structure for your argument, right? So far, none of these have really anything to do with sexism. But I'm pretty sure this one will. Alex Alvarez. Film highlights male My Little Pony fans but draws criticism. On 6 February 2013. Let's do it. By Alex Alvarez. And there's also another article by him, I believe, in the next citation. A Kickstarter-funded documentary on the Brody subculture by Bronies themselves is facing backlash from women who argue that the film excludes them and their experiences, as well as from fellow male fans who feel the documentary doesn't offer a complete portrayal of male My Little Pony fans. So, it seems that there are criticisms for both male and female perspectives, but the weird part is that you, Cuddlepug, failed to mention the male Bronies' concerns, or that you think that whatever the female says is more concerning than what the males say. I don't understand. This is kind of odd. A brony, as defined by the inimitable KnowYourMeme.com, is a portmanteau of bro and pony, used to describe a teenage or adult male fan of the TV cartoon series My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. According to the site, these young men were at first viewed as being outside of the cartoon's expected demo of young girls. But bronies have since grown into a widely recognized fandom subculture and continue to retain their presence and influence on internet culture and its hub sites. The term brony was coined on 4chan, where bronies remain active in addition to frequently posting on fan sites and on Tumblr. Which brings us back to the documentary Bronies, Extremely Unexpected Adult Fans of My Little Pony, which can be purchased online, and why it's facing all manner of criticism. As Daily Dot's Asia Romano writes, the documentary seems to be an earnest attempt to positively portray the group, and it's part of an ongoing attempt by bronies to change the public's perception of what they do. Still, many bronies feel that the film's subjectivity is its downfall, and that it ultimately fails to respond to or even approach any of the major critiques about the fandom. That is actually a pretty legitimate response. And notice that it's kind of a group, the entire group, regardless of gender. So I still have to wonder where this fucking narrative keeps coming from. Is it just because of the first paragraph that said that some female fans were criticizing how they were not being represented as much as males? My Little Pony fan Steve Holt summed up the documentary's tone as, "Hey, we like something we're not supposed to like, we demand an award." The documentary has also received criticism for not offering a farther-ranging glimpse of the show's fans, which include male fans who don't necessarily feel persecuted for their interests, the series' female fans, and the darker side of the fandom, including infighting and bullying, which is also legitimate. And I have to wonder how Cuddlepug could not have seen all these other things that people are fighting against too, that are actually happening. I'm assuming that he read the first paragraph and that was enough for him to make his fucking appeal. Anyhow, and then there are still other aspects that went largely unexplored. On a Reddit thread about the film, one Redditor asked whether the documentary mentioned clopping, slang for masturbation in another part of the fandom. He was told that it is mentioned. The literal quote in the animated sequence was, "The talent is their glory, never slowing, never stopping, from the music to the stories and the artwork and the clopping, oh dear." But let's steer away from that. And another Reddit user echoed the sentiment that while he enjoyed the documentary overall, it would have done well to include people like me, otherwise known as the majority, for whom the show and its fandom is but one facet of life and not a dramatic, fraught complication. That's an interesting way to word it. Another fan agreed, adding that, "I feel like it still sends the wrong message that watching LP is something that is or should be treated like a misunderstood taboo to the rest of the world. Like it's something you have to come out about and confess to your family. That doesn't really help legitimize the brony fandom." Pretty true as well. That was kind of why I went in my argument against Cuddlepug in the first place. Was that he was saying that, fucking males were using the fucking show to empower themselves, even though males every fucking day are afraid to even, tell other people about it, and they have to justify their masculinity if they do. I had to. As for the show's female fans, also known as Pegasisters, they may very well be included in another proposed fan-created documentary on the subculture. For, as a very thorough article in Global Commons points out, there is an aspect to the rise of and media fascination with brony culture that isn't explored. Ironically, of course, the bronies' own behavior en masse in the fandom reinforces the same old male-centered, female-margin dynamic as does much of the media coverage. Female fans are squeezed from the frame as objects worthy of consideration of their own. Some have proposed the male-centered term brony be applied to all adult MLP fans, an unreflexive marking of the male is universal. This is indicative of a broader claiming of the text as normatively the domain of men, a far from unique dynamic in fandom, just one of a million reasons why a feminist narrative like MLP Fem is still so sorely needed by girls and women. No, that's... What? Okay. And I'm pretty sure that little part, the last paragraph is completely italicized. So this is probably the editorial aspect of this ABC's news things. We do not need feminism in My Little Pony. These males enjoy the female characters because they're empowered, because they don't have to say, "Oh, I am a woman, hear me roar, rah, rah, rah." They're just fucking people who, well, they're ponies, not people, who enjoy things. So I'm a little bit concerned about this Alex Alvarez. And I kind of lied. I thought the next one would be by him too, but it's by this woman named Rebecca Angel. There's two by her, though. Anyhow, her first article will be Adult Male My Little Pony Fans, Bronies Are the True Rebels, in October 1st of 2012. Let's check that out. I'm sorry this is probably going to be a very long fucking video because I have to go through every single citation and then make my conclusion. I'm going to love and tolerate the crap out of you. This aggressively carrying phrase is from the Brony community, a growing group of adult My Little Pony fans. I like to think of Bronies as rebels. Today's college guys have heard it all from their fathers and grandfathers and professors who lived through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's hard to top those crazy times, but what about watching a pink and glittery cartoon aimed at little girls called My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic? Then not only watching the show, but becoming a rabid fan, participating in discussions online and gathering at My Little Pony conventions. Maybe a prancing purple pony tattoo is the only new FU dad that works nowadays. No Brony I've ever spoken to has stated being a rebel as their reason for watching this cartoon reboot from the 1980s, about a group of young ponies learning about friendship through their adventures in Ponyville. So why are you calling them rebels? That's kind of weird. In fact, a large percentage of them keep their fandom a secret. I can understand why. Most people who hear about Bronies consider the group either ridiculous or creepy. Although there are female Bronies too, the vast majority are male. Now note how this person's not saying that in like a derogatory fashion, like that's a problem. It's just, that's just the case. While reading a superhero comic, I have never had a stranger come up to me and accuse me by saying, "You like Wolverine? Are you gay?" Yet Bronies are consistently assumed to be homosexual because of their acceptance of girl-themed entertainment. I use accuse because the word is used as an insult. When people see grown men supporting feminine colors and enjoying a cartoon that's more about love than violence, he must be gay. That's a pretty damn true statement, which is the thing that we probably should concern ourselves more than supposedly this fucking sexism within the fandom. But according to a recent survey of Bronies, a vast majority consider themselves to be heterosexual. Well, no fucking surprise. I didn't think I always thought that a fucking TV show could determine your fucking sexuality, of course. They are also mostly male and in college. This doesn't sit well with the culture that has exposed these boys to how they are supposed to act in childhood. Lego, not Barbies, play ninjas, not fairies, war, not peace. How can we explain the fact of males embracing something so feminine? Well, if you talk to a Brony, they will give you an obvious answer. It's a good show. Yeah, that's why people enjoy the fandom. It's a good show. According to the fans I chatted with, My Little Pony has a higher quality writing style than other children's shows with varied themes, and the plot and characters develop over the seasons. It is funny, full of action, and the ponies have unique personalities anyone can relate to. But there are adult targeted shows that are good too. Why stick with this one, especially if they are going to get flack from their real life community? I guess the better question is, why should these guys stop watching My Little Pony? It's a show about friendship, learning, making mistakes, and having people you love help you out. It also has happy endings. According to that recent study, the Bronies said watching the show gave them positive feelings. Others have told me how the Brony community has changed their lives with a male view message of love and tolerance that has helped them in their relationships. In a recent conversation with Andrew Benage, media liaison for the fan convention BronyCon, he said, "As specific as the idea of ponies is, Bronies could not be more contrasted and fascinating. Pick any type of hobby, career, and volunteerism, and Bronies are somehow involved in trying to apply them to the fandom. Bronies are a diverse group of adults, male or female, that enjoy a show that makes them want to be nice to each other. Maybe the fact that any man gave My Little Pony a try is the most important point here. Having interests that go against what men are supposed to embrace is the sneakiest kind of rebellion. Pony on. Yeah, so, that's weird. Very odd indeed. I'm assuming you use that article to spur your notion that since there's a lot more attention being brought upon the men, that obviously it's a sexist society, or a sexist thing. Well, unfortunately, the next citation I tried to click is not available. Either was deleted or was made up, I don't know. But it was supposed to be another one of Rebecca Angel's articles about in defense of bronies, but it does not exist apparently. Alright, so on to the next one. By the Daily Mail, Meet the Bronies. Military men gather as fans of My Little Pony. This is going to be good. A group of U.S. servicemen are coming together to share a passion for a television show based off of the popular My Little Pony. These military men call themselves bronies as they wear patches. Well, not you kind of phrase that wrong because it's pretty much all men or all people who love the show that call themselves bronies, not just military men. As they wear patches on their uniforms identifying themselves as fans of the show. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The phenomenon recently came to light as men in uniform joined the 4,000 fans of the show geared toward young girls gathered at Secaucus, New Jersey, earlier this month for the 2012 BronyCon. The show's fan base among members of the military began about 2 years ago when the show first began to air. Now, more than 1,800 people have liked a Facebook page called Military Bronies. The page highlights various members of the military in patrol situations while wearing the My Little Pony patch. There are variations of the patch that typically include a cloud of the red, yellow, and blue lightning bolt, which is Rainbow Dash's cutie mark. This design symbolizes a rainbow dash, which is used on the show. Okay. This design symbolizes, well, I guess you can, okay. Rainbow Dash is not an object, she is a pony, okay? What a weird ass way to say it like that. Anyhow. Administrators of the Facebook page said today that they do not advocate for servicemen to use the patches, especially if it goes against the rules of the military. On the Facebook page, an administrator said, regardless of how easy it is for others to claim this, we do not promote wearing of unauthorized patches, badges, or insignia on your uniform. Well, I mean, of course you guys don't. I mean, sure, all you're doing is just running the thing, but of course you don't represent it. You're not out saying, yeah, that's fucking fine. Why not? Anyhow, we do not recommend you do anything that goes against the regulations of your branch of service. Well, apparently they aren't. A spokeswoman for the Pentagon told FoxNews.com that the military does not support unauthorized patches on uniforms. One soldier, Ken Derpy Catlin, oh my god, defended the fan base and his connection to the military. He said, you, the bronies, have taught me that there are things and people worth protecting, things bigger and more important than myself. Kind of virtuous. A National Guard member named Darius told BuzzFeed.com that he was amazed to see how welcoming other fans were at the recent convention. As I would expect, because pretty much any person who likes the show, any person that likes the show is probably going to be accepted. We barely made it up to the top steps and every other side was cheering for it, he said. I started clapping because I figured if everyone else was clapping, I'd do it too. Then my friend was like, no, dude, they're clapping for us. The first BronyCon, held a little more than a year ago, attracted only about 100 people who trickled into some meeting rooms in Manhattan. Now the show boasts thousands of fans nationwide. At this year's event, stuffed ponies, pony accessories, pony signs, pony hats, and other equestrian paraphernalia were flying off the shelves. Actors who do the show's voices signed autographs and spoke at the event. In 1983, Hasbro released the first My Little Pony toys, which became popular among young girls, leading to television specials, a movie, and the first TV series ran from 1986 to 1987. The brand stuck around through the years, languishing in relative anonymity, but all that changed when Hasbro hired animator Lauren Faust, who breathed new life into the My Little Pony concept by creating the Friendship is Magic series. Faust had worked on the Powerpuff Girls and Faster's Home for Imaginary Friends before dreaming up the land of Equestria, where My Little Pony characters like Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie get to go on exciting adventures. And that's pretty much the end of it. Once again, doesn't seem to have much to do with sexism at all, even if it is only talking specifically about military men. Because as I stated before, it's kind of weird, absurd, that men can enjoy something that was targeted for young girls, especially military men, because military men do not play around. They are, fucking bold, fucking serious face and all that. So it's even more surprising than so. So I don't really get this. I don't really understand why he's getting so upset with all these articles. None of which has really anything to do with both his arguments. They kind of falter them for the most part. Okay, so we're finally on page number 2. I have 5 more fucking articles to go through. So, let's check out the next one. Jessica Goodman. Bronies, the colorful side of millennial escapism. What a mouthful. Sorry, I have a cold sore. In the basement of Webster Hall, 200 fans waited for Hey Ocean to take the stage. It was the Canadian band's third show at the East Village venue, and at 10:20 p.m. on a Monday evening, the crowd was getting restless. Toward the back of the dimly lit room, 20 fans were clearly segregated from the rest of the group. When I say hey, you say ocean, screamed one man with a ponytail, facial hair, and an open flask. Hey, he cried. Ocean, the group responded. An orange pony-shaped stuffed animal flew into the air. Brony, 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 they chanted. Oh, okay. A dozen more bronies, adult fans of Hasbro's animated TV show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, made their way to the back of the room, heeding the call to gather. Together, they looked a little out of place at the indie rock concert hall. They wore mostly black, save for the rainbow-covered slogans emblazoned on their t-shirts. A few fans held colorful plushies, stuffed animals modeled after show's pony characters, and on the background of almost everyone's phone was a screenshot from the cartoon. They were all there to see the lead singer of Hey Ocean, Ashley Ball. Oh, now this makes sense. I was kind of wondering why were they even there. Ball voices half a dozen characters on My Little Pony. Whoa. Rainbow Dash and Applejack, as far as I'm concerned. And she and her band have made appearances at BronyCon, an annual convention for adult fans of the show that was founded in 2011. Hey Ocean is scheduled to headline Fiesta Equestria, another Brony convention in Houston in June. Something they make no mention of on their website. Okay. Though the indie pop act is popular in their hometown of Vancouver, the show in New York was part of their first full-fledged U.S. tour. It has been made possible by the number of Brony fans who will pay to see them perform. Or rather, pay to hear the voice of Applejack, one of Ball's characters, sing in real life. Oh. Okay, that's kind of cool. Bronies grew in number as soon as the TV show rebooted in 2010 with the help of websites like 4chan and Reddit, and to the surprise of the show's creators, the cartoon became increasingly popular with males aged 13 to 35. There are now over 20,000 Bronies around the world, according to the Grassroots Brony Study, conducted by Patrick Edwards and Marcia Redden, 2 psychology professors at the University of Georgia and Louisiana State University, respectively. The survey found 86% of Bronies were male, and the average age was 21, a stark difference from the show's target demographic of young girls. Which I'm pretty sure Cuddlepug looked at that and thought, wow, that was appallingly fucking sexist. Come on, where's the women in that situation? Or whatnot. Because, of course, anything that doesn't cater towards the 1-to-1 ratio is obviously fucking sexist. Ugh. Edwards and Ryder were drawn to the astereotypical phenomenon on two levels, age and gender. They wanted to identify personality traits that define the fandom, about a third of whom they call social bronies, who hang out beyond the computer screen and are unashamed of their bronyism. Ren said that most bronies tend to be optimistic, upbeat, and open to new experiences, but they're not one big homologous group, which is important to note. In fact, the pair have identified 5 distinct types of bronies. They continue to study bronies and have added 2 more researchers to their team. Some colleagues think we're silly and it's not worth the effort, but we don't have any indication that the family is doing anything but growing, she said. To a degree, bronies are better adjusted than non-bronies. They have a ready-made family. Alright then. Some say brony popularity can be credited to the new sincerity movement, which refers to music, film, literature, and fandoms people gravitate toward without postmodern irony or amplified hipsterdom. The work of the indie musicians Cat Power and Connor Oberst and filmmakers Wes Anderson and Pedro Almodovar has often been categorized as such. Well, this is new. Although bronies claim to like My Little Pony for one reason, it's good, obviously. The brony psychology. Some bronies believe online fandoms are a way to fulfill the millennial generation's desire to escape. Game of Thrones, like the Harry Potter series and most recently the Kickstarter-backed Veronica Mars revamp, have fostered fan fiction subreddits, meme generators, and hundreds of tumblers. Xen Marlowe, a lady brony, well, that's an interesting way to say it, a term some female fans use, others call themselves Pegasisters, doesn't really participate in the in-person brony community in New York. The 22-year-old used to actively lurk on Reddit brony forums, but is now less involved. To a degree, Reddit is a boys' club, Marlowe said. A mean one at that. But she found the brony threads to be more accepting and forgiving than other subreddits devoted to male-oriented fan crowds. Even 4chan, known for its misogynist undertones and cyberbullying, has become a safe space for bronies to connect. The themes in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic are simple. Friendship and self-confidence, and the online communities that support bronies reflect that. Our generation has a lot to deal with in life, Marlowe said. We've had to deal with the crudiness of progress, the changing economy. The early 2Ks have a gutter of pop culture grossness, as post 9/11. Everyone's been diagnosed with chronic depression, ADD, and eating disorder. She paused and touched an emerald streak that stood out against her dark hair. We like to pick up and go to a different world. Whoa, shit. That's a lot. That's a sentiment echoed by Charles Sporn, a 21-year-old student at City College who came to the show with an orange plushie he intended to give the ball. He postulated in a recent school essay, one could easily see the entire brony phenomenon as a backlash against the fear that was so deeply instilled in the generation who were unlucky enough to have 9/11 bisect their young lives. Well, that's quite a lot to say about that. With the growing popularity of Pixar movies and adult-oriented cartoons, it's become easy for people her age to extend our adolescence, said Marlowe, especially online. Her first fandom love was Harry Potter. A tattoo on the left arm plays homage to Severus Snape, one of the series' main characters. If you're dressed like a wizard, even online, there's not much room for confrontation, she said. The same goes for Roomful of Ponies. Not everyone at the concert was there because of My Little Pony. Columbia University student Deborah Stack came to see Hey Ocean alone. She'd been waiting to see the band live for 6 years and got to the venue early so she could squeeze her way up front for all 3 opening acts. Stack had seen bronies fawn over Hey Ocean on YouTube and Facebook. I'm really glad Hey Ocean has a fan base of bronies, if that makes him able to come to New York and tour, she said. I'm not into the show. I would never go to a ton. It's not for me, she paused. It's a little too fanboy. The lights went down and Ashley Ball came out on stage, accompanied by 3 men in flannel. In ripped, tight, short shorts and messy blonde hair, she began playing the flute and kicking at the ground. With tambourines, upbeat guitar chords, and lyrics like "Sing until you have no voice and you make me want to dance." It's not surprising that Hey Ocean's music has become a soundtrack to the positive brony lifestyle. Ashley Ball, and we'll rock the hall, called out the Bronies in the back. One young man held onto a Build-A-Bear cartoon containing a pony from the Make-Your-Own Stuffed Animal Company's new line of Build-A-Ponies, made especially for fans of My Little Pony. It was a gift for Ball. In fact, all the plushies in the room were birthday presents for the lead singer. She's given us so much, said Ed Goodwin from Merritt, NY, who came to the show with wood carvings he made for Ball and her bandmates. It's only fair we give something back. She only gave you fucking voice acting shit. Goodwin, 30, had been a Hey Ocean fan long before he'd been a Brony. He found Hey Ocean on Spotify and went to one of their first New York concerts in May 2012. At the show, he met a few Bronies who suggested he go to the next New York City meetup. To be honest, it was like I was on a different planet, he said about being at his first Brony event. No one argued, everyone got along. At BronyCon, there are people there from all over the world, and they all got along. That's what the show represents. In between meetups, Goodwin keeps in contact with the friends he made via Skype, Twitter, and Brony forums like Stay Brony, my friends. The friendships I made here are so much better than the ones I made in school. I could never relate to people in high school, he said. Now I always have something to talk about. Well, I'm kind of done reading that because, like I said, like with all these art citations, they don't actually seem to cater towards his fucking narrative at all. So, I wonder if he just got fucking upset at the fact that everyone was paying more homage to these men who obviously are the majority of the group and obviously are the ones who have to justify watching the show and justify their masculinity. But I still have 4 more goddamn citations before I've come to make my final words to put to sleep this fucking essay. The Katie Notopoulos. Hasbro crushes dreams of grown men who love My Little Pony. Okay, this one's definitely probably going to be one of those. Forget SOPA. The biggest online intellectual property story last week was the shutdown of a website offering downloads of the cartoon My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which shook the burgeoning Brony community to its core. Well, yeah, I would understand why they got upset, but, you know, it's not exactly free. Bronies, bro/pony, are adult male fans of the new series launched in 2010 based on the classic 80s My Little Pony toy that, spoiler, your mom secretly threw out your collection of when you went to college. If you think Bronyism sounds like something only a series pervert living in his mother's basement would be into, you're only about 30% correct. To address your immediate question is not ironic. It's nerdy guys who generally enjoy an animated series about ponies. The show has a legitimate appeal to older audiences, high production values, snappy dialogue, and a heartwarming message. But the online fan culture of Bronies grew out of 4chan, so they have a computer nerd vestigial tale of Mountain Dew, anime appreciation, chronic virginity, and cyberbullying. Well, this is lovely. Generalizations. This is probably the heart of the entire essay. Bronies have their own news sites, fan forums, and even a healthy amount of fan art ponies doing unspeakable sexual acts on Tumblr. They've had real-life meetups, and an upcoming BronyCon in New York will feature appearances by voice actors from the show. In the pecking order of internet weirdo subcultures, Bronies fall somewhere between Ron Paul supporters and furries. Oh, great. For this reason, I like to do a research for Bronies on Twitter every now and then to see if there's anything worth ironically retweeting. It was while doing this search that I stumbled onto the piracy scandal unfolding between trademark holder Hasbro and a popular Brony site. Until last week, ponyarchive.org was a keystone of the Brony community. The fan site offered free full episodes of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and had around 30,000 visitors a week. Pony Archive's videos were much higher quality than YouTube, making it the best destination for fans who didn't want to buy episodes on iTunes or wait for the DVD release in February. It also serviced international fans who couldn't access the show on TV or iTunes in their country. It turns out giant international corporations don't love it when you parrot their content, even if the words friendship and magic occur in its title. On December 14, Hasbro sent a takedown notice to PonyArchive.core. Pony Archive, which was based in Sweden, did not comply and sent this email reply reposted on Brony News. Thanks for your concern. Since we are merely spreading friendship and magic, we feel that we're protected by Princess Celestia herself. Also, we are not based in the U.S., so the U.S. law does not apply to us. Please feel free to download the episodes from our website in order to learn about accepting friendship and happiness too. Have a nice one. Wow. I do have to admit, that's a pretty disingenuous thing to say. I mean, apart from, yeah, they aren't based in the U.S., so they can't be charged for U.S. things, but there's this thing called, forgot what it was called, but it's this thing that they do to send somebody from Sweden to be charged. That's what they did with Mega Upload. Was that they weren't based in the U.S., but they extracted. I forgot the fucking word. But Hasbro did not want to learn anything about accepting or happiness. They sent a second notice, and by December 20th, Pony Archive relented and removed all content from the site except this message under the heading, "Fuck you, Hasbro. Dear Celestia, today we learned that Hasbro are no longer bros. They are indeed proper wankers. We were only trying to spread the word that friendship is magic, and then these twats came along with their fancy threat letters. Please manage has no bro to the hellholes forever. Yours truly, Pony McArchivington." Wow. Yeah. That is quite childish. These harsh words sparked a rift in the Brony community. Had Pony Archive reacted immaturely, or was it justified response to a snub by Hasbro? Equestria Daily, the most popular Brony blog, had 844 comments on its post about the crackdown. Most commenters were anti-Pony Archive. Being a Brony, I am ashamed to be associated with people that choose to answer in such an arrogant and self-entitled manner, such as me. It's childish, that's what it is. The last thing this fandom need are people like this. Not cool, Pony Archive. You're failing to love and tolerate the very people who introduced the love and tolerate rule. Shame. Our Bronies were just disappointed the site was gone, especially Bronies in other countries. Pony Archive is down. Guess I'll just use the Pirate Bay. It's not like I can buy the DVDs or any episodes from iTunes. Pony Archive's official response in the comments, well, we did this for to lols. Yeah, of course. Not a good place to do, to be joking when Hasbro could take you down with the flick of a fucking finger. So, as I can tell from just that post alone, that was the heart of it. But then again, it still really doesn't have anything to do with supposed sexism in the fandom. People are upset that fucking Hasbro legitimately took down videos that they were releasing for free. They can't fucking do that. It's not fucking free. Alright, Chris Peters. Great. Fucking last name is a first name. Bronies. Dudes who like My Pony have strong community in Nebraska. Let's do it. How long is this video? Way too long. But I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible. Anyhow, let's keep going. Chris Batchelor II always dreamed of becoming a professional wrestler. His ring persona, Christopher Lust, would sport tuxedo trunks and try to seduce the audience, who would be a heartthrob. But after 4 years of training, a knee injury forced Batchelor 23 to walk away in 2011. He had put all his energy into wrestling, but now he needed a new passion, a new way of life. That's when he found My Little Pony. I just found a new kind of happiness and purpose about me, said Batchelder, an Ohaman who started a podcast called Broniecast, or Bro-N-E-Cast, in April 2012. Nearly a year later, he feels like his shows, which have gone as many as 7,000 views in one day, have given him a solid ground and direction. Considering the show helped pull me out of a depression, I think it's worth to give it back to the show and the fandom that has sparked from it. Batchelder said. He's one of a group of adult men and some women who watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, a show on Hasbro's TV station, The Hub, channel 1, blah, 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 blah. They chat about it on social media, form clubs of like-minded people, and buy show-related memorabilia. They call themselves Bronies, Bro Ponies. The show, which premiered in October 2010, details the adventures of a unicorn pony named blah, blah, blah. You already know the fucking gist. Successful children's shows, yeah. Adults say they've gravitated toward it for a variety of reasons. It's definitely not what you expect when you hear My Little Pony, said Jessica Payton, head of Lincoln's Bronies group and one of many female Bronies. It's got adventure. It hasn't got rainbows and magic. It's got a touch of that, sure, but it's got story and action and bad guys. University of Nebraska Lincoln student Kyle says he watched the show for the first time as a joke. But the more he watched, the more he was genuinely entertained. It was funny, engaging, and addicting. He recruited others to watch it too. It's ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Many male Bronies, including Batchelder, say they are challenging gender stereotypes with their open support of a girls' TV show. Wow! That's quite the thing to say, considering that this person who was saying that the fandom was sexist made this as one of their citations to build that fucking structure in the first place. Very fucking odd. That gives the movement a cool factor, says Robert Thompson, a Syracuse University professor who studies television and pop culture. It's so totally uncool that I think it comes clear around the other end of the spectrum and makes it cool, Thompson said in a phone interview. It's one thing for guys to like motorcycles and muscle cars and soccer. For a guy to like My Little Pony, it's so out there that it becomes almost avant-garde. It has a hip quality to it. Whatever the appeal, the show's popularity has grown, and so has the Brony well, that was a misspell. The series is the highest rated original production in the history of the Hub Network. And the Brony page on Facebook has more than 70,000 fans. Shortly after the show debuted, word spread on YouTube and other social media sites, and adults, especially men, were fans from day one. Adults started to form Brony groups and have regular meetings. A convention, BronyCon, New York Con, grew out of Brony meetups in New York City in June 2011. That convention, the first, drew 100 people. A year later, the fourth time the event was held, 4,000 people attended, including guests and voice actors from the show and even Faust, the show's creator. Nebraska Ponies has been meeting since November 2011, when 5 people brought a TV to the Scooter's coffee house inside West Roads Mall to watch episodes. Now with more than 400 members on Facebook, the group meets monthly at a Gretna church. About 70 Bronies attend each time. I'm very surprised by the Brony community around here, said Jared Sloger, an artist and a Nebraska Bronies member. It's something that has just exploded. In fact, Omaha had its own Brony convention last year, Pony3Con, a one-day event at the Sheraton Hotel near 108th Street and West Dodge Road, drew more than 350 Bronies from as far away as Tennessee. Sean Minton, Pony3Con co-chairman and co-founder of Nebraska Bronies, said this year's convention has been expanded into 2 3-day conventions, one May 10th through 12th and the other sometime in October. Planners are preparing for 1,000 participants and expect no fewer than 500. Conventions mostly consist of panels with local and national Brony celebrities, booths for groups and artists, games, costume contests, and giveaways. From the outside looking in, the Brony movement can seem hard to explain. Is it born out of irony or sincerity? Well, I am pretty sure what the rest of this is going to go like. Just like all the other ones. Most of these articles really just talk about how the Brony community got big. Which, I guess Cuddlepug would be an expert on that, but that's not the argument he's making here. He's trying to talk about sexism in the fandom, and since he refused to provide his 100 fucking testimonies, which is a very fucking small number considering how big the fandom is, and using these fucking so-to-say testimonies in a very vague way to, assert the narrative, yeah. I can tell how these fucking articles seriously do detract from his actual fucking argument at all. Oh, my mouth is getting real sore. I got 2 more left. Here we go. Asia Romano. Brony documentary blasted for sexism. Now, this is probably going to be sweet. At least to the ears of Cuddlepug. What do you get when fans decide to make a documentary about their own fandom? In the case of the Bronies, the fans of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the answer seems to be erasure and exclusion. To say some fandom critics of the recently released documentary Bronies, the extremely unexpected adult fans of My Little Pony. Not everyone in the Brony fandom is happy about the newly launched documentary. Female fans are already planning their own documentary in response to give a more inclusive portrayal of fans, particularly the female sector of the Brony population, which many fans claim was virtually ignored. Notice that many fans point out how the female representation was not included, so this is not some kind of sexist thing, at least in the perspective of the people who are outraged by it. Despite raising over $300,000 from thousands of My Little Pony enthusiasts in the fifth most successful funded video project on Kickstarter, the makers of Brony still managed to go over budget. Even though they originally requested a mere $60,000 to make their feature-length film, an email sent to contributors by executive producer and actor John Delancey explained why the cost grew. When the response to the Kickstarter campaign resulted in 5 times the original goal, Mike and I felt duty-bound to expand the scope of the show. Immediately, this translated to 4 more cameras at the convention site in New Jersey. It also meant including 4 additional cities in the United States, as well as traveling to Israel, Germany, Holland, and England. Of course, with this major expansion, we were now dealing with hundreds of additional hours of raw footage that necessitated the need to hire yet more editors, sound engineers, and video engineers. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Notice the entire paraphrase does not mention at all anything about male or female focus, geographical focus, and work focus, okay? Anyhow, Bronies landed on January 20th at bronydoc.com, where you can purchase a digital download for $12.99, well over the cost of the average download online and almost as much as a regular DVD. There's $19.99 DVDs. Despite an earnest plea from producers to fans to pay full price for the download in order to defray costs, free copies almost immediately began circulating on the internet. So how does the Brony fandom portray itself? Questionable production decisions aside, the documentary seems to be an earnest attempt to positively portray the fandom. Part of an ongoing attempt by Bronies to change their public perception, but many Bronies feel that it is subjectivity is its downfall and that it only fails to respond to or even approach any of the major critiques about the fandom. Wait, that was almost copy-pasted word for word from the very first citation. Hopefully this is not going to continue. Like any other fandom with a heavy amount of nerd cred, Bronies have to contend with being ridiculed, with having their fandom mocked, and their masculinity inevitably questioned. Many fans have pointed out that this is par for the course of nerd culture. There is literally nothing new and fresh about this fandom, says the critique blog Fuck No My Little Pony. Right? MLP fan Steve Holtz snarkily characterizes the documentary's attitude. Hey, we like something we're not supposed to like. We demand an award. Oh, I didn't know it was snarky. Also, strangely copy-pasted. Is this just another point about the supposed sexism within the documentary? Even though it seems that the documentary itself had a lot of fucking problems apart from supposed sexism. Holtz, like many other fans, points out that the martyred perspective can only exist because the documentary emphasizes the fandom's male participants. Of course. I believe it went as far as it could with covering what it was aiming to cover, writes Wanderer D on fanfiction.net in a post calling for female fans to create their own documentary, which garnered over 100 largely supportive comments. 100 largely supportive comments. The same amount as 100 testimonies that Cuddlepug apparently got to make his fucking essay. Odd indeed. Odd indeed. I really believe that they never had the intention to go any deeper than media perception about the male aspect of our fandom. Probably because the attention that the media keeps bringing upon is the males. It's kind of ironic that the media is criticizing what they themselves were doing with the male fandom. I mean, they're the ones saying that, oh, these fucking males, they're just fucking basement dwelling keyboard warriors who just fucking masturbate to cartoon characters and living off fucking welfare checks or something like that. But they don't get to fucking have their cake and eat it too and then turn around and say, wow, the media really needs to stop talking about the men in the fucking fandom. Shit. Even though they were the ones who were doing it in the first place. The creator of Friendship is Magic, Lauren Faust, is an executive producer on the documentary and appears several times in the documentary. But in a lengthy post, Lensflare Pony on Tumblr points out that even her appearances may be disingenuous. Oh, great. Let's hear it. The clips of Faust really show her talking more about what she thinks of male bronies rather than giving a strong description of her philosophy that she wanted to imbue into the show. Being that there are many ways to be a girl and that media made for girls and young women doesn't have to be bad and can be just as deep, relatable, and powerful as those targeted as male audiences. That is kind of true, but, since media keeps fucking focusing on all the hype about all these fucking men are so obsessed with the show, it's kind of hard to look deeper into the philosophy that, hey, girl things can be for men too. And there were other voices who felt marginalized as well. Over at Equestria Daily, Kitschei Duck commented, I believe the documentary didn't focus enough on the fact that we're not all introverts with no friends outside of the internet. I get the feeling that due to this documentary, I've ended up possibly being labeled as someone who lacks adequate social skills and relies on ponies for a moral code to follow. I've gotten some comments too that apparently you can only be autistic to enjoy this show. Or gay. But not everyone believes the documentary's moral code is foolproof either. In a lengthy two-part editorial critiquing the documentary, Derpy Hooves News castigates the documentary's avoidance of the many problems plaguing the fandom. The documentary doesn't address things like the harassment of Yumino after the removal of Derpy or the explicit death threats in the lyrics of pony artists yelling at cats. Purple Tinker, the creator of the original BronyCon, is shown lauding the fandom, yet recently has spent much of her time across many social networks blasting ponies for transphobic language. Not facing these issues means that bronies cannot learn from these mistakes, or at least begin to discuss them and try to figure out why people think the way they do. It's also misleading to the general public. It promotes an image of the fanbase that isn't the entire truth. And if people aren't getting the whole truth, then why should they believe the good things are crammed ham-fistedly into the doc? Probably a good point. Skill Kitschei Duck did enjoy the documentary, and there were plenty who agreed. It strengthened my aim to go to this year's BronyCon and Galacon, wrote Tumblr user Song Gopal after watching. We have to also remember the good side of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fandom, and this documentary does exactly that. It's clear that for some fans, the film's $320,000 budget has paid off. But for others, the documentary treads little new ground and leaves the fandom's complex range of issues and fans untouched. Well, some things are going to be left untouched in the Brony community. It's going to be. Ugh. And just like with all the other ones, apart from supposed fucking misogyny, it's pretty much just Shalane its opinions about the Brony documentary. 90% of all these citations is usually about how people are coming out about liking My Little Pony, and the other 10% is about the fucking documentary. So, I have one more fucking citation left. Will this possibly have something more substantial to say about supposed sexism within the fandom, or am I going to come across the conclusion that Cuddlebug did not actually read these fucking articles? And here we are with Angela Watercutter, My Little Pony corrals unlikely fanboys known as Bronies. Yeah. Something tells me it's not. Here we go. Each day, out-of-work computer programmer Luke Ellen self-medicates by watching animated ponies have magical adventures. self-medicates, right? The 32-year-old who lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, loves his daily fix of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and he's not alone. He's part of a growing group of bronies, bro-ponies, men who are fans of the TV show, largely intended for run. I'm not even going to read it. I'm done. I know where it's going to go. It's the same fucking deal. The same fucking deal. It's just going to say, yeah, the fandom came out, people are talking about, their fucking experiences and shit. That has no fucking does not mean that the fucking fandom is sexist in any way. Yes, this fucking focus is mainly on the men, but the reason for that, Cuddlepug, is because of the media. That's why there's all these fucking articles about it. That's why they're not too fucking focused about it. Because, for starters, the show was targeted towards girls, but more importantly, it was targeted towards young girls. Okay? That's why also the documentary says the unexpected adult fans, because even adult females watching the show is kind of weird. It's just more weird when it comes to the men. You gotta blame the fucking media that fucking puts so much attention onto them, because, it's not really expected of men to watch the fucking show designed for little girls. Such as yourself, since I'm assuming that you're a male and your little vector drawing or whatnot is your, fucking OC or whatnot. But yeah, I don't understand how you could have made a structure out of that. Out of all of your partial bibliography, which none of these fucking articles have anything to do to substantiate your claim about sexism in the fandom. The only conclusion you're making out of all this is that people have criticisms over the documentary, and that there is a lot of fucking attention directed towards men in the fandom, males in the fandom, which is not fucking sexist at all. It's not. Would you be fucking saying that it's fucking sexist that there's a shit ton of fucking males playing Call of Duty? No. And I wouldn't think it would be sexist if it happened to be a lot of females. I just think, that's fucking surprising, because, My Little Pony, fucking Call of Duty is mainly something for men. And, that's fine. That's alright. Exclusivity is fine in that case. So, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much this entire fucking bullshit fucking essay. And I will make my little fucking diorama on the comment section of how fucking blasted this fucking essay was. And I will show him links to my videos so that he can watch as I argue each chapter if he somehow happens to catch something, as I say, off guard. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. I'm done with this fucking episode thing. After that comment I'm going to make on Divine Art, this is pretty much it. I hope that you were somehow willed it upon yourself to watch me read out most of these citations within an hour or so, because I certainly didn't.